Hi y'all, round two. Okay, so I'm going to pick up hopefully where I left off. It's been a while since I was able to upload the last one. So if we go to the content area of D2L into week 5, you'll see that I have the first instructional video posted here. And we went over this, the MLA template is there, DePeter's work, which is going to be very useful and required for Wednesday when you post your peer review work. And then why we eat, right? That's for Friday's reading response. And then just to review the paper portfolio rubric, just to, remind you of what's going on there. There's also a video, and you can go to the content overview area to see the video about the paper portfolio rubric and instructions, okay? What I first want to kind of go over is the peer review process. There are a lot of instructions here, and I don't want that to overwhelm you, but I just want you to kind of know everything you need to do to be successful in this endeavor, okay? So the first thing I want you to kind of think about is the purpose, right? We hold peer review in order to help one another out, right? As I said previously, this is not about judging one another's work. This is about helping, giving, a fresh set of eyes and feedback to the author, the original text author, which is you and your colleagues, right? So what's going to be helpful is looking at DePeter's work, because DePeter goes through and kind of talks about the ups and downs and the different, experiences of people with peer review. And I also want you to take a few minutes to watch this video, which is also going to be required for the peer review post. It just kind of briefly walks through what to do, what to focus on. It just kind of lays out some of these things. So this will be a refresher for some of you, and for others, this may be one of your first experiences with peer review. So this is definitely a helpful video, okay? So we're going to share in the discussion area our portfolio drafts, and I have assigned you to different groups, so don't worry about that. So what you're going to do is scroll down and find your group. Your names will be essentially the title of a different post, so you just find yours, okay? So once you do that, I want you to note that you're only going to post in that specific area where your group is located, right? So I want you to be really careful about where you're posting your work, so that we don't have people's work all over the place and your group can't find your work because you didn't post in the actual group area. So just, be on point when it comes to paying attention to these kinds of things. We don't want to confuse one another, okay? So what you're going to do when you go into your area is by July 1st, but before would be awesome, you're going to go into that discussion area and start your own thread. You're going to put your name as the title, as you've been doing in the past, and you're going to offer a brief kind of writing for the week, but then you're also going to upload your work as a document, okay? So what happens is, you're going to start your own thread, and you'll click add attachment and search for your document and upload that. It has to, y'all listen, it has to be in Word format, which is .doc or .docx. That's the, in the file name, that's the extension. And that's because you can't upload a PDF or something, because folks can't edit that and offer feedback. So just something to be aware of. Okay. In addition to uploading your attachment, I want you to, after reading DePeter's article, what does he mean by the term meaningful praise, right? So I want you to kind of work to define that for us. If you quote from DePeter, give DePeter credit and offer the page number, okay? After watching the video that also we have the link for, what are the global and local aspects of a draft? They talk about that in the video, okay? So just pay attention to that. So additionally, I want you to give your peer reviewers a kind of sense of what are you looking for, right? So I want you to, in the text box, after typing your response to the previous questions, think about what do you want from your reviewers, right? Give them some direction. What do you want your colleagues to focus on in your writing? Are there areas where you struggle? Maybe you've been told in the past, or maybe I've indicated in some of my feedback that maybe you lean towards run-on sentences, or that you want to double check some MLA. Note that this is not a venue for people to correct your work. This is a venue for people to offer you feedback, where they can say, instead of, oh, I'll correct this whole citation for you, rather it's more of, I think you want to focus on the last name comma first name in this citation, or hey, this was hard for me, but this is where I went or what I thought about, right? So I want to make that clear. You are not correcting other people's work. You're just offering constructive feedback, okay? So don't think you have to go line by line and correct everything. That's not your role. You're just giving, overall feedback, okay? So think about things like grammar, punctuation, spelling. Maybe you struggle a little bit with including research. Providing context. So give people a sense of where they need to go or where they need to focus. So between Wednesday and Friday, you need to supply feedback to every group member. Okay, so some of you will be in groups of 4, some of you in groups of 5, just depending. So every person needs that feedback from you. So that is time consuming, and I expect good, useful feedback. I am going to look at the feedback, right? So don't be the person who's like, oh, this is really good. It may be really good, but why? Right? It may be really good because, but then you also need to find constructive things to add. Are there areas you didn't quite understand? Are there questions? Maybe you aren't an expert in MLA, but you want to say, hey, I'm not quite sure if this is right. Okay, when you've completed the feedback for your colleagues, you need to go into their thread, right, the one with their name on it, and that's where you will go and respond and then upload the edited version, right, of your feedback. Okay, so in terms of that feedback, you need to use Microsoft Word, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'll pull up just a random document. This is from my other class. Looks very familiar, right? So what you want to do in Microsoft Word, and please note that I'm using a Mac computer, so my Word looks a little bit different, but the functions will still be the same for yours, okay? So in mine, I'm going to review. In some of yours, it may be tools, right? But what you want to do is track changes, okay? Again, it's going to look a little different where you are. Just if you need to use the help button, you know, find the track changes or search for it. I'm going to turn that on. Okay, so when I turn that on, it means when I start typing something, it will show up. So maybe, oh, I need to, you know, ask a question here. So what do you mean by this? So you see that it's a different font color, of course. It defaults to red. Don't worry. I know there's, you know, seeing red on the screen can be kind of hard, but just don't take it to heart. You can also highlight parts of the text and then click New Comment. And off to the side, you can write, you know, this is a good point, but, right? And it'll save there. You know, so there are various ways that you can kind of play around in giving feedback. Just don't overdo it, right? Don't change up your format in every way. You want to make sure that people can kind of read and see your ideas, okay? So additionally, what you can do is go in and highlight areas, okay? So I'm going to click on Home up here. Let me move this over so you can see it. You can highlight and then put a note, you know, just so that it stands out on the screen in a particular way. Regardless, you need to do something so that people can see your feedback and differentiate between what they have written and what you have written, okay? So some of you are going to want to do work in the text, and I encourage you to do that. You know, maybe you stick to surface level things in the text, so grammar, punctuation, spelling, and maybe you go in at the end and just type an overall kind of response. It really is up to you. Everybody's is going to look a little bit different. There's not necessarily one single right way to do this. There are wrong ways, and wrong ways are just not offering enough feedback, offering feedback that really is not addressing what the people asked for. So keep some of those things in mind. Okay, so that's how you track changes. Now, when you go to save it, I need you to save it as a PDF file, which you should be able to do, you can do in Word. So if you go to File and Save As, you can save it in PDF format. So I'm going, you're not seeing this right now, but that's okay. I'm going to click Save As. And then in my area, if I click the drop-down menu, I can choose PDF. You should have something similar whether you're working with the online version of Word or your own version that's on your computer, whatever the case may be. Okay, so you'll save it in that format and upload in PDF format, and that is just because sometimes if you save it in Word format in .doc or .docx, when people go to open their feedback, they can't see it, right? Because the track changes may not be visible. And so to avoid all of that, just upload it in PDF, so it's essentially taking a picture or an image of your feedback, and people should not have a problem, okay? Let me know if you have questions about this sooner rather than later, okay? I'm going back to the instructions, right? So you're responding in their thread, right, in the original thread. So we don't have a million different threads going on within your group's area. So just respond to people directly in their own, okay? If you have a group member who is not posting their work, then let me know. I'm going to be in and out of the discussion areas, right? But I'm going to need somebody to remind me, hey, this person hasn't posted, so I can get in touch with them. If they post late, take pity on them and offer them some feedback, but ultimately, if it's very late, that is not your problem. That is their grade, not yours, okay? Like, you tried, you let me know that they didn't submit it. So you need to upload all of that feedback by Friday, right? By 11:59 p.m. Please don't forget that you also have your reading response that's due at the same time, okay? So we have some overlapping things, just plan your time wisely. You'll want to read Kluger's text while we eat for Friday. 2 paragraphs of summary. Y'all are definitely getting the hang of that. I'm seeing it in your paper topics. I love it. I want you to also provide 2 paragraphs that are connecting Kluger's ideas to your food culture ideas, okay? And when I say connecting, I mean be specific about your food culture and the things that you're working to identify and share about that, and connect specifically to Kluger's ideas, okay? Some of you, when we were doing the paper topic, one of the paper topic due on the 21st, you were bringing in quotes, but then generally talking about food culture instead of getting specific to your own, right? Don't be afraid to share things about yourself. Only share what you're comfortable with, right? But I'm really asking you to write about yourself and your food experiences, so don't be put off by that. Now, when it comes to the final portfolio, this is taking place in the assignment section. When you click on this, it will take you to an area. I'm going to scroll up. Sorry, I'm trying not to make you nauseous by this. You can also go to assignments in the course activities section. Mine's going to look a little different than what you're seeing, so don't worry. I'm going to click on this assignment, okay? It should look different. I'm not sure why. Okay, so if you click on this assignment, give me 1 second to pull it up. I'm just going to go in and edit it so that you can see what it looks like. It'll generally look like this, okay? And you'll be able to add your attachment there. Okay, so if you have questions about what this looks like or anything, I can definitely walk you through the process, but some of you are familiar. But again, if you're in the content area, scrolling, if you click on this, it will take you to a page where it'll have my instructions, and it'll have a little button that you click that says add attachment. You'll find your finished revised document and upload it there. Make sure it's uploaded in .doc, .docx, or .pdf format. I can do the PDF, but your colleagues cannot for the peer review process. Okay, so if you do, like I said, have questions about this, please let me know. Right, and then I also have the videos and information posted here so that if you need to do a review of the portfolio rubric or of the video that walks through those instructions, you can do that. I also want you to keep in mind that you have your multimedia project coming up. It's a big project, so take a look at that video. Let me know if you have questions. You can you can run your ideas by me if you're concerned about it, but ultimately you just need to dig into something that we learned or talked about this semester, whether that is one of the readings that you thought really spoke to you, or things that you're kind of developing and learning in terms of your own ideas about food culture. It can be a piece of art, it can be a PowerPoint or a video or a song or a piece of fashion. The sky's the limit. Look at the video, let me know if you have any questions. All right, y'all, it's a very busy week, but I have all the confidence in the world that y'all are going to finish strong, and I hope you really enjoy the multimedia project. This week is tough. I know writing and reviewing and doing that is very tough, but y'all are near the end, and then we get into some fun creative stuff. All right, y'all hang in there and take care.